Hello, I'm Adam Barralet and welcome to this Crystal Connections video where we're exploring the wisdom of fox. Now fox as an overall species is found all around the world, native to the Americas, to Europe, to Asia, even found now in Australia, unfortunately as an introduced species which actually has a detrimental effect on our wildlife. But that is a poor decision of humankind and we're not going to knock fox for that today. Now, just like humans on this earth, we sometimes think that we're the superior species, but we can look at how different animals adapt and deal with the challenges of life, and we can take some guidance as well. You may also find at different times fox will become prevalent and will catch your attention. Maybe this video caught your attention. Maybe you actually saw a fox. Maybe it's pictures or a documentary or something, but that's often how fox will kind of come to us as a guide and say, hey, I've got some things to show you. So what are the lessons that we can learn from fox and what do we actually learn from looking at fox? Well, first of all, adaptability. You'll find foxes living in amazing places all over the world. There is the Fennec Fox, which is found in northern Africa, which is one of a small version of fox but has massive ears to enable it to cool itself down. But then in the coldest environments, you find the Arctic fox, which will actually change the color of its coat throughout the year. So it's white when it's snowing and kind of a brown color when the snow has melted away. You'll also find that foxes thrive really well in cities, and so they teach us about how to be adaptable to our surroundings. Often we can become rather rigid or stuck in our ways, but there are times when we do need to adapt and change, and if fox is appearing, then that could be a message for you. Now, you'll also notice that fox doesn't like to be in the limelight. Fox is normally around, the outskirts of the forest or the outskirts of the city, and you'll just get little glimpses of them. So when fox is around, fox shows us that we don't need to always be in the middle of the attention. We don't need to be in the spotlight, and that sometimes it can actually be a bit of a survival technique to kind of go around and be a bit more cunning and not try and show everything to the world at that time. Now, fox also has a reputation for being an animal of twilight. You tend to see foxes mainly at sunrise and sunset. So at these times, this is considered to be a time when the realms between our world and the other worlds are closest. So fox is sometimes seen as a messenger between our realms and the other. So you can connect with fox, or fox may reach out to you to suggest that maybe you need to look at the other realms. Maybe you need to connect with your ancestors. Maybe you need to connect with the fairy realms or the no realms, or maybe just the wisdom of the animals. Now, when we're talking about connecting with animals, any animal but fox in this video, we're not talking about one particular fox, we're talking about the archetype of fox and what we learn overall. So when you see these foxes, think about, okay, the messages are, how can I be more adaptable? Maybe I don't need to be in the limelight. And what are messages that are trying to come to me from the other realms? And these are all messages that fox brings to us. In talking about fox, it would be remiss of me not to talk about a Japanese mythical being known as Kitsune. Now, Kitsune is a fox, but it is a fox with extra powers and extra tails. Now, Kitsunes have lots of different talents, including being able to turn into humans and live human lives, but also to be able to be there as friends and lovers, guardians and protectors. Now, it is said that as a Kitsune gets older, it grows more tails, and the most common ones are ones with 3, 5, 7 or 9, which is the pinnacle. And when you get to 9 tails, a Kitsune will often turn either white or gold, showing that it is totally enlightened. Now, normally to grow another tail, a Kitsune must live for 100 years. So these animals have been on Earth for a long, long time, have seen a lot and have learned a lot and carry a lot of wisdom that as we connect with them, we can call upon that wisdom as well. Kitsune, when we connect with them in meditation or bringing their energy in, we can really find how to be more cunning, how to adapt to different situations, how to be malleable, changing ourselves or our environment to fit to a certain circumstance, and how to kind of, rather than go head on into a situation, how to approach it in a way that's going to be more beneficial and maybe take it from the side or take time to take a look at it before you rush in and make a decision. So if you love fox and you haven't heard of Kitsune before, do a bit of a more internet search or just visualize and invite Kitsune to come into in meditation and see what Kitsune has to share with you today. Sometimes fox will reach out to us to give us a message in the ways that I discussed before, but we can also reach out to the fox energy when we have different issues in our life. Now, where would we call upon fox? First of all, if we need to be adaptable. If you're finding that you're stuck in a situation and you don't know how to get out of it, maybe that you find yourself being locked with someone else in an argument that you can't find a resolution for, or maybe you've kind of realized that you are a bit stubborn, and fox would be a really good animal for allowing you to kind of break the mold and have a bit more fun and loosen up a little bit and just go with the flow and adapt to different situations as well. Now, when you feel that you have a challenge that tackling it head on is just not going to work effectively, fox is a really good one for kind of helping you to know when to approach someone, how to be a bit more cunning, how to be a bit more tactful in that way. Tact is a really great skill that fox will help to bring us as well. And, also if you feel, another time that you might call on fox is if you feel that you're being overly watched or scrutinized and you just want to kind of step back a little bit and disappear into the shadows for a while, just as fox does, he will allow you to do that as well. Now, if you are interested in connecting with your ancestors, connecting with guides, connecting with, the fairy realms or the gnome realms, or even the salamanders and the dragon realms or the mermaid realms, fox could lead you down that way. Maybe go on a walking meditation, imagining that the fox is before you, and just follow him through nature. See where he takes you and where you end up. Maybe he'll take you to a magical tree, a peaceful spot. Who knows? But fox can help you to kind of connect more with nature and with the other realms. The best times to, of course, meditate on fox and bringing that fox energy in is at twilight, so dusk and dawn. But you can call upon fox anytime when you need to be malleable, adaptable, and a bit more cunning. There are also other gifts from the mineral kingdom and the plant kingdom that we can use to connect with that energy and the lessons and bring in that fox or that kitsune energy. So when it comes to the mineral kingdom, my favorite crystal that really reminds me of fox is kyanite. Now, kyanite comes in a range of colors: blue, orange, as well as green and black, and these can really help you to be a bit more adaptable. So both these crystals are very protective of too much energy. So they protect, like fox does, helps you to disappear into the background and not take on too much of the energy, not be in the spotlight, but they also help us to adapt, mold, and even listen to our intuition. Really good for empaths. So this one, especially if you're trying to be a bit more cunning and tactful, then the blue kyanite can be really good. If you're trying to listen to your gut a bit more and know what to do, then I find the orange kyanite can be really helpful in that way as well. Now, when it comes to essential oils, a couple of essential oils that come to mind. The first one is known as Rosalina. Now, Rosalina is an Australian essential oil. It's sometimes nicknamed lavender tea tree. Went blank for a second. Lavender tea tree. And it's another name for it is swamp paperbark. So it grows near, it probably looks a little bit like this tree right here, growing near waterways, having that kind of paper bark on it. I don't think that is the Rosalina, because Rosalina is found on the other side of Australia, but it probably looks similar to that. Now, this essential oil smells like lavender and tea tree combined, has a similar effect with lavender and tea tree, but energetically, it's because of that connection to water. Water is obviously very malleable. It allows us, it always fits into this environment that it's in. So Rosalina is a really good one. Another one, which is a great adaptogenic oil, is known as sweet gum. Now, sweet gum trees are found across North America, Europe, and Asia. The one that I work with is beautiful sweet gum from Asia. Those that are doTERRA fans, it's found in the adaptive blend, and this really helps you to adapt different situations as well. Sweet gum teaches us that the cycles of life are always turning, that the only thing that we can rely on in life is knowing that things will continue to change. The cycles of life cannot be stopped. And sweet gum allows us to go with the flow of that and to deal with that rather than work against it. So fox, kyanite, Rosalina, and sweet gum can all help us to adapt to different situations, to be flexible, to go with the flow, to be malleable, to be cunning, and to make the most out of any situation. If you feel that you need any of those attributes, then try connecting with fox. You can dedicate a crystal to fox or diffuse an oil to remind you of fox's presence. Or what I recommend, hold one of the crystals, smell the essential oil, close your eyes and visualize fox in front of you. If fox could talk to you, what would fox say? Or even give that walking meditation a go, where you just go walking in the bush as the sun's starting to set or as the sun's just starting to rise, imagining that there's a fox in front of you, leading you somewhere, and see where you end up. I'd love to know about your experiences with fox and fox wisdom and what you've learned from fox. Please share it with our nature-loving community in the section below, the comments. And while you're at it, take time to subscribe if you haven't already. I really appreciate it, and hit that bell so you get a notification whenever I do a new video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I'm Adam Barralet. Blessed be.